This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
I love it when we have unique guests on this program, and this is sort of like peeling the curtain back so you can see what goes on behind the scenes. The topic today, taxidermy, how they do what they do, helping us also dispel some of the myths we might have behind that. I can't think of a company that's better worldwide than the one that is joining us today. Leyba Creations, and it's art. It's, as I've come to realize, what they do is so artistic and so detailed and so meticulous. Takes a little bit longer than other firms to get it done. There's a reason why, because they're meticulous. Cricket joins us from Leyba Creations. How are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Really good. Really good. Seriously, I've learned so much in the times that we've gotten together, how this all works. It's like when you go into a store, somebody's home, restaurant, whatever it might be, and you see something on the wall, you wonder about it. How did they do that? How did it all come together? So we're peeling back the curtains today, and I believe we're going to look at forms, essentially the starting point for some of the stuff you do.
Yeah. So, I pulled a form that way you can kind of see what's underneath everything. A lot of people ask, they're like, well, how do you preserve the whole animal? And it's really, you don't do anything with the inside of the animal. It's all basically the skin and hair, right? So I brought a mannequin to show what that is. So, for instance, this one right here, so there's different types of foams also. So this foam here, it is a closed cell, so that's very dense. So it's not an open cell. So I don't know if you've seen certain types of foam where it's easy to break. That is the difference. So, and this is a foam we bought on one of our taxidermy supplies company, and you can see like it's missing a head, it's missing legs. We have to form and put this all together and fit this to the animal. So if the skin is too long, basically, or the hide, if it's too long, we didn't take good measurements. We should have ordered a bigger mannequin. But if it's only a little bit, we can sometimes split this down, open it up, or split it in half and kind of open it if it's still looking lifelike and the legs fit. And you have to really know the anatomy, right, to be able to make these alterations, because this is kind of what it's supposed to look like. So if you start changing it too much, then you have to say, hey, does it still look lifelike? Does it still anatomically correct?
So I gotta tell you, Cricket, you were sitting and you're lifting that form up, and it looks to be, if it was fully, I don't even know the term, mounted, skinned, whatever it is, done, when it was done, it looks to be like, call it like 3 feet when complete, just guessing here, almost 3 feet. But you're holding that form up with no effort. It's so it's got to be a special type of foam that, like when you have styrofoam, you could press the side of it and your finger would imprint into it. Is it that pliable, or is it a thicker type of foam?
Oh, it's definitely thicker. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's very durable. It is tough to even break this, because you want them really durable. Like if something happened, if a customer dropped it. Now all your detail is on the face here and the legs, and each toe is formed. So, if you drop this, we're going to have problems later on, but they are very durable. The body is the foam itself. And so you basically have a saw. We use saws usually to cut these open. You can carve them. We do a lot of carving. I don't know if you can see like this start of the arm. So we like, here is a muscle feature. When we may fill that in, we might leave it, or we might make it deeper. So we change a lot of this to make it a little bit different. And you basically have to form this foam into what you're wanting. So it's not exactly how you're wanting it when you get it here. It takes an artist to kind of mold this.
So the way it is, and for anybody that's listening and can't see it, it looks like we have the body. It looks like we have one back leg attached, or it
Yes.
comes that way anyway. Yeah, it is formed that way. And then, so it looks like on the other side, you need to add the other leg. And I'm
Yep.
guessing maybe that's because you might want to put it in a certain way. There it is in a bag, ready to go. It's put it on
Yes.
there in a certain position, and it almost looks like that would be the same thing for the front, where you could make it the way
Yeah.
you want it to be.
Exactly. And like this one, since it's already cut, you can make adjustments because you make adjustments as the joints are, right? So if we adjusted this leg here, we can move it. We may cut this hip out and move it a little bit as well. Shoulders and then the head as well. So like when we make cuts into the neck, we make V cuts if we want to adjust that. And whatever you use here and take off, you adjust as accordingly. Because a lot of times, if you cut this off, you want to use that piece again and adjust it because you'll make the neck too long or too short. We've seen that a few times where, somebody tried to adjust a head and it's way too long for its body. Measurements are super important before you start cutting things. So if this is 4 inches, you need to make sure that the
Mm.
back of the head is always 4 inches, whether you turned it the opposite direction.
So let's say pick any animal. What animal is that?
This here is a large bobcat.
Bobcat. Okay. So let's say you have a bobcat. Somebody sends you the skin. Can you pretty much have it in any position?
I mean, the way our shop works, yes. There are only a certain position for certain animals. Sometimes, especially if it's an exotic or not a lot of people hunt this animal, so they don't have a lot of options on the forms, then they're limited. So if your shop does alterations, then you're not limited on positions and the way you're mounting. So like say this is the only bobcat size, say this was the only one. Well, in our shop, it's not because we can move legs, we can, even move this body where it turns more. But that's kind of what we want to be set apart for, is being able to adjust the body to make it unique even. Because everyone could have this size of bobcat, but do they have it turned the opposite direction or one leg popped out or open mouth, stuff like that. So
I'm going to give you a crazy hypothetical question. Let's
Mhm.
say, and I'm making this all up, but just I want to see how far we can go with that. Let's say,
Okay.
um, I'm making a story up. You used to go camping and hunting with your dad, and
Mhm.
he maybe maybe he has passed on, but you have that bobcat skin, and maybe you guys had maybe in the past shot a bobcat. And let's say your dad used to stand in a certain position. He was very well known for it. Maybe a hand on a hip or something like that. Could
Yep.
you, just to honor him, have that bobcat on its back legs standing up with a hand on its hip?
Absolutely. That's one cool
Wow.
thing about mentoring. Yes, you can. We did a little project with our daughter actually, where we had a raccoon, and my husband helped her, and she's only 9, so our youngest, and she loves taxidermy. She loves working with her dad, and she wanted to do rocket off Guardians of the Galaxy. So they adjusted everything, did the rocket costume, and she helped do everything. And she got to put it in the show and everything, and she enjoyed it. So yeah, we can definitely do that. We can do custom anything. We also have ideas where, if somebody wants a tabletop and the bear holding it on its paws or something, something super unique, that we can do that.
Um, Question answered. Okay. Wow. And in my mind, it was like, Steve, do you really want to ask this question? Yes, you do. But are you going to be judged by the hypothetical question? But it just goes to prove that you can do many different things, poses and such, and you're not limited just by the form. And the reason I even want to bring that up is that there might be a misconception that, well, you guys get the form and now we got to do whatever the form is. No, you move it, you shape it, you adjust it to, I guess, what the customer is asking for.
Yep, absolutely. That's what kind of, that's again what you want to see the difference on is those custom mounts where they walk in and say, hey, I've never seen that before. And we've got a few of them where, we've altered so drastically. You can't find a form for it, which is awesome. We love that part about it. Even like we could say, hey, use this mannequin, and the alterations make it 100% different,
Final question on that. And I'm just looking at how the process works. So I don't know how you describe what you want, like the customer describes to you what they want. Do you go back and forth with drawings, or do you do anything on a computer like CAD drawings? How do you know what I'm thinking?
Yeah, so usually I'll go over with every customer, especially a life size. So, the first basic questions we ask were, okay, if it's life size, do you want open mouth? And then, do you want it aggressive striking? How high are you hanging it? Do you want it stalking? So we do go over every fine detail, and then we kind of send pictures of what their idea is, and then sometimes they'll say, oh, I love this part of the cat, but I want this leg more back so it looks like it's leaping off. And then me and my husband go over it and we say, hey, what are we going to do to alter this cat and make it to what they're wanting? And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it's not exact if we need to keep bracing in there or something, but most of the time we can alter these animals. And we go over extensively with each and every customer to kind of get those ideas, and then we put notes and pictures within the paperwork, which is great. And our system does that now, and
cool.
And we're able to recreate that and go over everyone.
Yeah, you're very detailed. You shared last time that even in terms of how long the project is going to be with you, color coding. So you've got a system going on there. Before we go to the next form, never asked this question, but just popped in my head. What is the largest animal that you've worked on?
So the largest, oh goodness, we're about to get a giraffe in. That will be our largest. But right now, I think the life-size buffaloes and elk are one of our largest that we work on here more. That would probably be the largest that we do.
I wasn't expecting giraffe. So I'm like trying to visualize how the heck is the customer, or are they local? But how could they be local? There's not a lot of giraffes where you are in New Mexico.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're from Texas, and they ship everything from Africa to us. So we do a lot of African and Argentina also, and across the country, across the world, we do a lot too. But that one's getting shipped in from Africa.
Well, that's easy. That's the skin. But now you've got it formed, and now it's back to the size it was. How do you get that to, and especially a giraffe? It's one thing if it's, bison or, bear.
Yep.
I could see, I'm just guessing, a wood container, and it's there and it's protected. But now you have the the neck. Like, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. We're actually going to take it we're going to have everything ready and then assemble it in a warehouse there near them, or even on their property, and then do it right in their warehouse, because you got to be able to get it into their home, and it won't go in unless you're already building it there. So we're probably going to do it on site.
I wasn't expecting that either. Oh my gosh. How far away is Texas from where you are in New Mexico?
So it depends on what part of Texas.
Sure.
Where this one is, it's about 13 hours. So it's not a bad drive. We can load up some of our guys and be prepared for it and ready and take everything with us. And then there's, you can look at different options on, so there's supply companies as well in parts of Texas. So we can pick up directly from there if we need to. So yeah, it works out good for us and our customer.
Final giraffe question. How long is that going to take? So now you have staff more than a day away, full, if you look at 8 hours, they can't keep going back and forth. So I'm going to imagine they're going to stay there. They're going to get it done. About how long would that take?
We'll probably spend a week to a week and a half there if it dries on time.
Wow.
So we'll be able to assemble in about 2 to 3 days. But once it dries, we'll probably, at least a few of us would stay a week to a week and a half.
That is just amazing. All right. What else do we got?
Awesome. So this is another one of our forms. This one's scratched. So you have to scratch every one of your mannequins so your hide sticks to your mannequin. A lot of mounts that we have redone, which is really tricky because everything has to be perfect on the hide. And a lot of them that we disassemble, the hide isn't even, the mannequin isn't even scratched, which is super important because you don't want movement of that hide, and it's called drumming, where the hide separates from your mannequin. You want it to stick really good, that way it keeps all of those details. And then it's preformed roughly, I would say, but my husband and our elk guy, our deer guy, they're amazing. We have several taxidermists that do all of their own clay work. Like they build up on all of this, and they cut this nose off here and put an artificial plastic nose, and which is better for quality and competition because it's better detailed. So basically the nose is made of plastic. And then here's the mouth inserts that we use, the more mouth cups, and they're incredible. The detail in these and in the lips, the teeth, I mean, it really is incredible what they have done and what other taxidermists has formed to make a better product.
So how does that work? You have that head, the form, and now you have the mouth insert. Do you have choices of different mouths that you can put in there? And also, if the form is set up to allow the mouth to go in, I would think it might be kind of limited how many different ones you could put in there.
Yeah. So, and they have different sizes as well. So they have like a small, medium, large, so that's a little tricky. Actually, they don't have a small, they have a medium. I have begged for a small one. But so that's the thing about it too. So it fits directly in there. If your animal is a little smaller than this, I've seen it where my husband will break this mouthpiece down, which actually gives it a really cool look. And it's not so aggressive open, and he'll close that up, which is real tough to get this mouthpiece. And this mouthpiece itself is about like 200, 250 with everything.
Wow.
And you break this and he pulls it closed, and then he's got to fix all of it and adhere it back together because he's got to take the tongue out and move everything closer. Then he's got to adjust the form. So he has to cut this whole mouthpiece off and adjust that where it looks correct and makes it still look really good.
Amazing.
So there's a lot of adjustments you can do. And then there's, like, for cats, for instance, there's a half open mouth where it looks like it's panting instead of a full aggressive. And then if you're wanting a closed mouth, these are closed and you just tuck everything into the foam. And how you tuck all of that in real clean. You want it, no wrinkles, super clean, the hairline exactly the same. It's real tough to make sure that every little hairline is correct.
As it is, because I've seen your work. It really is. I want to go back to the form and the scratching. So am I getting this right, that you are creating what's the best word? A rough surface on the form for I guess the adhesive to stick to the skin. But it's funny, I would think it would be the other way around, because now you're creating, very small ridges by scuffing it up, if you will, so I would think that it wouldn't adhere the same way, but I guess not.
Yeah, you want the yeah. So it's small scratches, I would say, but if you scratch it too much, you have to fill in that detail with clay or plaster also, because we've had that where our guys get a little rough on the face, because you have to be real careful how you scratch the face, because you can scratch that detail off, so you have to put that detail back on. And you do have to be careful in certain areas if it's a really thin animal, but the adhesive we use, the glues, they work really well. They fill in those holes as well, so it'll make it smooth right back out. And like the type of adhesive and the glues you use is really important as well. So like we use, you can buy them from your taxidermy supply companies. We kind of do a mixture of ours where we actually make it out of a wallpaper adhesive as well. And it's really durable. It lasts a long time. I mean, it sticks really, really well. It's important to use good glues.
And I would imagine too that the good and the bad, having done this so long and being so particular, that you already know, man, we're not using that one, we're using this one.
Yeah, absolutely. We've gone through a lot, and we do tests on them as well. We've done test strips, so we'll put leather or another piece of hide that we just threw or something that we don't use parts. We'll stick it to the mannequin and use different glues and see what the best glue is that sticks the best. And we actually use a more concentrated glue on the face directly as well, which, I mean, our costs are higher on that, but it's worth it because your detail stays so much better. If you ever see a mount that's kind of flattened out and picked up from the mannequin, that's not a good thing. You want it to stick to that mannequin really well and keep that detail.
And I would imagine too, as time goes on, you never want to get that phone call. Cricket, the skin is pulled away from the form just below the left eye, and then now what?
Exactly. That's exactly it. We want, when we talk to people, we want a lifelong mount that their grandkids, the quality that they got, that their grandkids receive. When our kids take our stuff that we've mounted for ourselves, we want their kids' kids to have the same mount today and the same quality as today. No difference.
Got about a minute left. Did you have something else you wanted to show?
We have, there's so much we could go over on this one, but I'm sure we can add to next time, but we can go over our rock, which is awesome stuff. We get this from Habitat Rock. We'll do a mention on them. They are amazing company. You can break this apart and basically form any habitat you want. You can add to it. You can color any color you want, and they just break. It's a foam. It's really great. It
product. Looks so real, like you're holding, like if right now, if you would, you just on camera, if you would be like, I'm trying to lift it, it's very heavy. I believe it. That was a real deal. That is very authentic looking. Wow. Maybe next time we get together, we'll take a look at some of the things you've done with that, either online or in person. Because that's the part that we don't even realize, that you can do things with pieces of wood, that kind of stuff, other materials to, just to add to the whole ambiance of your mounted animal.
Yep. It's amazing what you can form to this and color it exactly how you're wanting. It's amazing stuff. I'd love to show you guys.
Wow. Best way to find you, leybacreations.com?
Yes, leybacreations.com is the best way. Go to our website, all our prices, everything, our contact information, everything's on there.
And it's Leyba creations.com. You guys are worldwide. Doesn't matter where you are. Start the conversation and do it right. There's so much went into having that skin originally. Why would you take a chance on a firm that doesn't have the same standards, doesn't care as much, family-owned business? Again, I've seen your stuff. Go on the website and use the magnifier with your mouse or on your phone and go take a look at the detail. It's insane. It's amazing. Thank you for showing everything today, Cricket. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.